Alright, we're here another episode of TEW. The brand split is officially in effect, and we are here on the first fuel with a new logo. I think it looks nice. We're on the pre-show. Texas Whippers get a win over Ray. You guys wanted Ray to come back, so I signed Ray. Chad Collier just got signed, and the Real Luchador. Collier got signed because he has very good stats. He's a technician. He's got great stats as a technician. And he was trained by Dean Malenko, so I can make something happen because they're both on fuel. So, Chad Collier, welcome to GCW. Anyway, this match was fine. Decent pre-show match. Bobby Duncombe having the best performance, and Ray having the worst performance. Poor Ray. And let's change his gimmick. His new gimmick is poor. Oh, come on. It's some guy called Ray. He's got a great gimmick. I don't know what you're talking about. Whatever. And then another pre-show match, we got Dick Murdoch falling to Mark Henry. Just trying to get Mark Henry over before we debut him on TV. So, good win here on the pre-show. Let's get into the main card. Starting off, Jesse Ventura opens the show, introduces 2 championships for the Fuel brand. Since they don't have the GCW title and they don't have the GCW World Tag Team titles, Jesse Ventura introduces the World Heavyweight Championship and the GCW Tag Team Championship. And he will announce what's going to happen with those later on tonight. It's an 88 right here. 4-on-4 action, the Dancing Fools make their GCW return as they're teaming with the Filthy Animals to face off against 4 other Cruiserweight division wrestlers. And the team of Kidman, Ray, Disco, and Alex Wright get the win over Psychosis, Kaz Hayashi, Super Colo, and Hector Garza when Rey Mysterio pinned Kaz Hayashi with the Springboard Hurricane Rana. And these are decent performances, really. Kidman and Ray, obviously, I knew were going to be great. Disco pulls a 51, which is expected of Disco. Alex Wright with a 68 is pretty good. And Psychosis 60, Psychosis for not being popular at all, pulling 60s is phenomenal. Future Cruiserweight champion right there, 78. Afterwards, Mean Gene Okerlund interviews Rey Mysterio, the Cruiserweight champion, talks about who's next for him. And out comes the Real Luchador, and he says, "You're no Luchador. I am the Real Luchador, and I want to prove it." So, I don't know. It's just Hugh Morris in a mask. I don't know why he thinks he's a luchador, but whatever. We're backstage. Mean Gene interviews Jesse the Body Ventura, and he announces a World Heavyweight Championship tournament. And that is starting tonight in the main event as The Rock faces Dean Malenko in the first round. Big announcement right there. Gets a 90. Not too bad. Diamond Dallas Page gets a victory over Shanghai Pierce. Hits him with the Diamond Cutter out of nowhere. And our car crash match was pretty decent. Good win for DDP right here. Afterwards, the Texas Whippers, Adrian Adonis, Bobby Duncombe Jr., Shanghai Pierce, and Tex Slazenger beat down DDP and then take off their belts and whip him a little bit, as they usually do. Bradshaw and Ron Simmons got a promo next and they talk about being the best tag team in GCW. There's no comparison. And the Dudleys make their GCW debut, coming out to confront the APA. Gets 55. Trying to get the Dudleys over. Goldberg makes his GCW TV debut, gets a victory over Van Hammer, hits him with the jackhammer. And afterwards, Gene Okerlund tries to get a word out of Goldberg, tells him what's going to happen with you in GCW, and he simply says, "Who's next?" That's it. 47. Jesse the Body Ventura cuts a promo, and he has the GCW Tag Team titles with him. And he calls out Shawn Michaels and the number 1 pick for a Fuel in the draft of last week, Triple H. They come out, and Jesse Ventura gives them the tag team championships because they are the former champions before losing them at Revolution. He sees a lot of promise in them in leading the tag team division on Fuel. So the tag team titles, GCW tag team titles, are given to Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Decent segment. Afterwards, the Impact players come out, Just Incredible and Lance Storm. They say this is bullshit. They're just Lance Storm's making his GCW return right here. So is Just Incredible technically, and they want the tag titles. So it gets a 66. Eddie Guerrero is in action. He gets a victory over Reggie Riggs in 608. Hits him with a frog splash. And a decent win right here for Eddie Guerrero. Afterwards, Mean Gene Okerlund is backstage interviewing Dean Malenko with Teddy Long on tonight's main event against The Rock. And then Gene Okerlund interviews The Rock on facing Dean Malenko in the main event. Not much to say about this, just pre-match interviews. And then we get the match. The Rock gets the win over Dean Malenko, hits him with the rock bottom, gets the 1-2-3, and The Rock advances in the World Heavyweight Championship tournament, getting one step closer to being world champion once again. An 84, I'll take that. Popularity goes up in Mexico. That's great. That was it for Fuel. We'll be right back in just one moment with Ignition. Alright, we're here on Ignition, January 6th, airing January 8th. We're starting off with the GCW champion, Steve Austin, coming out, cutting a promo. And he is interrupted by Shane Douglas, the former Revolution main eventer, the former GCW world champion. And we get a confrontation between Douglas and Austin, and it will result in a pay-per-view match at Aftermath. Douglas versus Austin for the GCW championship. And this gets an 89. Well, we expected a good promo because Austin can cut a good promo. Douglas can cut a good promo, so it makes sense. Starting off with Dress Dito. Chris Candido wearing a dress. Defeating Steve Blackman with a diving headbutt. This is our car crash match. Not the only one. We have another one on the show. And Chris Candido pissed off that he has to wear a dress, but still gets the victory on Ignition. We get a promo video for Val Venus. It's a hype video, of course, making his debut soon. Coming to Ignition. The big Valboski. And this gets a 30. Ken Shamrock cuts a promo, and out comes the Big Show. Big Show's gimmick is getting stale. I'm going to mark that down. So Shamrock cut a promo. Big Show comes out. They have a little bit of a confrontation, and it will result in a match, of course, on pay-per-view. Shamrock versus Big Show will happen at Aftermath. 72 right here. We're backstage. Michael Cole interviews Chris Benoit, who's next for the United States Championship. And Benoit, of course, says that there is a fatal four-way planned for Ignition. J.J. Dillon told Benoit about it last week. It wasn't on TV, but it happened. And J.J. Dillon booked a fatal four-way. It's going to be Satoshi Kojima, Chris Kanyon, Perry Saturn, and Taz facing off on pay-per-view at Aftermath. The winner receiving a United States Championship opportunity against Chris Benoit. Also tonight, Satoshi Kojima will be teaming with Chris Kanyon to face off against Perry Saturn and Taz. Chris Benoit will be joining the match as commentary to keep an eye on the potential challengers for him and his United States Championship. Too Cool's in action next, facing off against the fabulous Holly Cousins. And Too Cool get the win when Grandmaster Sexay pinned Bombastic Bob Holly with the Tennessee Jam. And Hottie gets a 57, Sexay gets a 66, Charming Crash Holly gets a 36, and Bombastic Bob gets a 34. Majestic Molly Holly, her gimmick didn't get too great. I don't know why I gave her that gimmick, but whatever. And they're a very poor combination for Bombastic Bob. And so Bob and Molly. We're going to take that off, and we'll keep her on Crash. This gets a 60, which is pretty good for a team that's unknown. Afterwards, Too Cool, they dance a little bit. And who comes out? Well, the red lights hit, and the Brood make their GCW debut, and they brawl a little bit with Too Cool. Christian, Edge, and Gangrel are here in GCW. So another three-man team added to Ignition's roster. 46 right here. Got an episode of Buff TV, along with Brian Pillman. And Buff asks him all kinds of questions. He's making his GCW return here, Buff Bagwell. And Pillman just ends up getting angry with Buff and his constant demeaning questions. And it ends with Buff Bagwell slapping Pillman across the face and then running away so Pillman cannot catch him. We're going to wait a little bit for the gimmick. New gimmick for Brian Pillman coming soon. You can see it in the main menus. You'll see it afterwards. But Taz cuts a backstage promo on the Fatal 4-Way at Aftermath. He also talks about the tag team match tonight, teaming with Perry Saturn. He doesn't really like Perry Saturn, but you know what? He's going to do what he has to do to get the win tonight. 58. Dustin Rhodes in action gets a victory over Cronus in 409 with the final cut. Not much to say about this match, just to get Dustin something to do. Afterwards, The Undertaker and Kane cut a promo. Well, Kane doesn't really talk, but The Undertaker cuts a promo. And D-Generation X comes out. Billy Gunn, Road Dogg, X-Pac, and Chyna. And DX confront the World Tag Team Champions of Undertaker and Kane. 67 right here. Godfather's in action gets a victory over Kendall Windham in 246. Hits him with the Ho Train. Again, just to get Godfather on the card. Backstage, cameras catch Ken Shamrock and the Big Show brawling a little bit as they're building up to their Aftermath matchup. And then we got our main event. Satoshi Kojima and Kanyon get the win over Perry Saturn and Taz when Kojima pinned Taz with the Koji Cutter. And Chris Benoit was weak on commentary, that's fine. It's just a storyline thing. 81, a bit weak for an episode of Ignition, but you know what? An 82, we'll take it. It is the brand split after all. It will take us some time to build up new stars, so it makes sense that we are suffering a little bit on match quality and promos and stuff. But you know what? If we can pull 80s, like 82, 83, and stuff like that, I'll be okay with that. We've got Big Show's gimmick to fix, we've got Rikishi's gimmick, and we've got to take off Molly Holly from Bob Holly. So let's go do that right now. What do we got over here? Super Crazy, coming to GCW. He will be signing with Rival Pro. Scott Vick will be coming to the main roster and will not be applying that gimmick. Got other guys coming in. Tyrell Ventura is Jesse Ventura's real-life son. So he will be coming in. Kind of like Shane. Kind of like Shane McMahon. Sandman's coming in. Going to be working on Fuel. And Steve Corino is going to be signing with us. But it's only going to be for a developmental deal. He's not going to be coming to the main roster right now. Rival Pro needs some new stars. And Corino is a perfect guy to have on that show. So let's go fix Rikishi's gimmick. Savage. Is comedy good? Comedy would be good. Big Dancer. We'll say that. That's a comedy gimmick for Rikishi. The Big Show needs something. Giant's good, so we'll just tweak it. And gonna take off Bob Holly. Bombastic Bob. Perfect. If you want to look at the if you guys want to look at the calendar, let's go look at that right now. So Fuel and Ignition, no problem with that. Saturday Night's Wrestling is back. It's being shown. It's on Tuesdays, airing on Saturdays. It's just to get, because we have a lot of newer talent who aren't really that popular, so I need a place for them to develop. And the pre-show, is fine, but on Saturday Night's Wrestling, even though it's a B show, at least it's broadcast across the nation. So I figured let's just put them on Saturday nights and give them something to do. So Aftermath is our next pay-per-view. It will be happening on January 18th. After that, it is No Love Lost on February 15th. March Massacre, I know you can't really see that, but it's on March 15th as well, or March 15th. Last Man Standing is April 12th. Defiance, taking place on May 10th. Resilience and Romance will be taking place on June 14th. Jeopardy in Japan will be taking place on July 12th. Summer Showdown, August 16th. Championship Wrestling 185, we're going to do the same thing that we did with 181 and just say it was a house show, so to cover up that mistake. But instead, we're just going to say 183 and 184 are house shows, and I'll just jump to 185 because I can. Halloween Hell, October 11th. Game On November 8th. Resolution Before Revolution is our final pay-per-view of 1998. It is on December 6th. And we're starting the new year with Revolution on January 3rd. We're going to be moving it to early January from now on instead of late December. And that's the calendar for GCW. So thank you guys for watching this episode. Make sure to like if you liked this video. Subscribe for more. In the next episode, we'll be running another episode of Fuel, another episode of Ignition, as well as the Aftermath 1998 pay-per-view, which will contain Steve Austin versus Shane Douglas, Big Show versus Ken Shamrock, some Fuel matches that haven't been announced yet. Until then, have a good one, and goodbye.